So now the server 2016 is built, and you know that I've already installed the VMware tool and kept, and that is the reason you see this full screen. Okay. So now what I'll do as a post build checklist and the prerequisites. First and foremost thing is I need to make the IP address static. So if I do IP address static ncpa.cpl, I'll go network interface card, open this, and properties. Before that, if you want to see the IP address, see the details. See, it is 192.168.230.190. So what I'll do, I will use 100 series there. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll go to add the IP address 192.168.230.130. I'll make. So 192.168.230.2, and since this server is also going to act as a DNS, the DNS server address also should be same address 168.230.130. Okay, click add. Now I'm good, and you can check your IP addresses. It is 130. IP config, see 192.168.230.130. So I'm good. So now the next thing is I need to make sure the computer name is correct or not. If I see my computer name, if you type a command called host name in the command prompt, it will tell you, see, it is Windows B0B458IVNJM. It is not the standard name. I am unable to understand what it is. So now to rename it properly, you can go to sysdm.cpl, okay, system domain management.dpl cpl, okay, and there you see an option called change. You can even go to my computer here, this PC, right click, go to properties, same thing like you found it in the server, a client, go to change settings, you can just go to computer name. So the quicker way is the command prompt. Okay, so the command prompt, just go to command prompt and type sysdm.cpl, and it will take you to the computer name option. Click on change and click on domain, not domain, renaming it is, sorry, not domain, it is rename. It is DC01 FB, because you see on the top level on the VM name also same, DC0-FB. Let me click on it. Okay, and now the machine gets restarted. So all the prerequisites are met now. I have installed the Windows operating system. I have installed the VMware tool, and then I have verified the IP address is static or not. It was dynamic, and I made it static, and then I have uh, renamed the computer to the standard. So now I have all the prerequisites of my domain controller permission, whatever is required. Okay, now we can continue to install the Active Directory role. So log into the computer or the DC. It is not a DC, it is a server now. Okay, because I have not installed the Active Directory, right? Without installation of the Active Directory service and promoting it to domain controller, you cannot call it as a DC. So I'll show you now. If I go to tools, I told you already, like as soon as you log into the server, you see the server manager. It will by default it will get startup. Okay, it will be added in the startup. So as soon as you log in, you will get the server manager wizard. Okay. Sometimes you will not get it. If it is suppressed, then no worries. Click on this Windows style option and you see this server manager option. Click on this. And now go to the tools here, just to verify whether the Active Directory, DNS and group policy is there or not. See, go to tools. You see there is nothing called A. There is no nothing getting started with A, starting with component. See, nothing is under the D. There is no DNS, and this group policy. See, nothing is there. Local security policy is there, but there is no group policy. That means in our computer there is no Active Directory available. So what we will do, in order to convert this to a domain controller, and the first and foremost thing, I need to install the Active Directory. Active Directory domain services. How to install? You can go to manage and click on add roles and features, or here you have this add roles and feature option. Okay, click on add roles and features, click on next. It will give you two options. You want to go with a role based or feature based installation, or you want to go with the remote desktop service installation. So I want to go with role based or feature based installation. Then you may ask a question, sir, what is this desktop support or remote desktop service installation? So by default, to any server operating system, same time only two users can log in. See, this server is there. You can also do MSTSC and you can log in, and I can also MSTSC and I can log in. Only two users can connect remotely to this computer concurrently. But if you want to more number of users at a time, I want 100 users to log into this computer remotely, or anything more than two users, you need to install this remote desktop service installation, and you need to specify the license, how many users can connect concurrently at a time. If you mention 20 users can connect to this computer remotely. You are sitting from your home, I am sitting in my home, and somebody, another 18 people are sitting in their home. They can go to the command prompt and type mstsc. Okay, and they can mention 192.168.230.130, and they can connect concurrently. 20 users can log into the computer if the second feature is installed. This feature is installed, remote desktop service installation is done, and if you have the license for 20 users. If you have 100 users can connect. If you have 1000 users can connect. Why this is required? See, normally what happens when we support to the customer, our customer will not be available in India. So we are working in India, IBM. Imagine you are working in India, but in that IBM, the project what you are working, that is from the Europe or America. You have to jump from IBM network to the customer network to do the work. Correct? Now, otherwise, how will you happen? How will you do? You cannot do anything without the communication, without the connection. So we call it as a jump server. Jump server means it is a server where you can connect to that server using VPN, and once you log into that server, you can connect the remaining other application servers. Say for example, customer has got about 1500 servers. You cannot establish all the 1500 from your base machine, because that is a security risk. What they will do, they will only allow connection from your laptop to the jump server, and once you log into the jump server, from there you can connect to the remaining 1400 or 2000 servers you have at your estate. Okay, that is the remote desktop service installation help. But I will not consider that now. My target is role based or feature based installation. Select that and go next. So here it will ask you to verify whether the computer name is correct or not. DC01-FB. IP address is correct. It is 192.168.230.130, and it is my 2016 data center operating system. Click on next. Once you click on next, it will take you to the roles. See, roles, server roles, and under the server roles we have multiple things are there. Okay, in the Active Directory only there are many Active Directory services are there, but we need to install Active Directory domain services. Can somebody tell me where is that option, Active Directory domain services? You can see multiple things are there. Okay, certificate service is there for certificate. Yep,
Second one.
the second one, right? And third, if you see, the federation service is there. I mean, if you want to enable any kind of federations for single sign-on or any Office system applications, and then you have the Active Directory rights management if you want to manage some rights and all, and then multiple things are there. Okay, so my selection is, and my requirement is to have the Active Directory domain services, the second one. Click on that option, add features. Next. See, I have not selected group policy. Automatically by default group policy got selected, and here if you see, DNS is there, but I have not selected DNS. I have only selected the Active Directory, correct now? And I told you DNS will not, Active Directory will not work without the DNS. Okay, we'll see how the DNS will automatically get installed. when you are promoting the domain controller. Okay, click on install. So now I am not promoting it, I am just installing the feature. Okay, so if you just install the feature, I'm sorry, if you just install the server role, this will never act as a, or it will not act as a domain controller. You need to promote it. Okay, we are just installing the application, but we have not promoted it. So promoted means you need to tell your computer, please act as a domain controller, and your domain name is this one, or you are part of this domain, or you are a new forest. You need to tell to that server and configure it. Okay, that I'll show you. Let us wait for this to complete. See, this is now completed. Configuration required, installation succeeded on DC01-FB. As soon as this completed, have you noticed there is a exclamation warning symbol is here? Okay. Either you can close this or click on this promote this server to a domain controller and close it here, or you can go here. You can go here, click on the warning symbol notification, and you see here configuration required for Active Directory domain controller at DC01-FB, and promote this server to a domain controller. There is a hyperlink here. You need to click on that. Once you click on that, it will give you the DC promotion wizard. Okay, and it is asking add a domain controller to an existing domain. What is the meaning of it? This means you are going to add a domain controller to an existing domain. Do we already have a domain with us? Or we already have a domain, guys, here? Facebook, do we have a domain called Facebook here? We don't have any domain. So that is not my option then. Okay, because our network is a workgroup network, yet there is no domain at all. Okay, so add a domain controller to an existing domain means you have already something and you are going to add something there. So the first option is not applicable for us. The second option, add a new domain to an existing forest, means you already have Microsoft.com and you want to add India.Microsoft.com. That time you can add the second option. So in my case, there is no domain, there is no forest, nothing is there. It is still work group environment. Then the last option goes add a new forest. Yes. Forest means I already told you it's collection of trees. Tree means collection of domains. That means I am going to create a new domain and that is going to be a new forest, right? Then the first, my selection is the last option, add a new forest. Click on that and you specify what domain you wanted to create. Okay. Now, since I have named this computer as DC0-FB, what I will do, I'll create the domain called facebook.com. Facebook.com. See? And then click on next. You can give whatever name you wanted. If you want, you can give raviteja.com, keshavmurthy.com, pallavi.com. Anything can be given. No worries.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, in this forest, that Facebook forest you have created now, in that forest, each and every tree will be extension, will be Facebook.com,
Facebook.com.
right, sir?
Exactly. It should
Ah,
be
okay.
end with Facebook.com because forest is Facebook.com here. The very first domain is forest, sorry, Facebook.com. Correct, na? So any other child domain controller comes or any other domain comes also, they will be ending with Facebook.com only. If you create a user account, that will be keshavmurthy@facebook.com. If you add a domain called maybe Facebook, india.facebook.com, then if you create a users in India domain, the user ID will be keshavmurthy.india.facebook.com. Like that it is. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So it is asking some password. Okay, just go with this forest functional level, domain functional level. This is all okay. The compatibility. Okay, what is your forest? Say for example, you have multiple forests: Instagram.com, Facebook.com, and LinkedIn.com. So you have one server 2016, another one is server 2019, another one is server 2022. Okay. This forest functional level, you can select whatever forest you wanted so that all the other three forests can also be getting communicated. Compatibility with the domain controller versions. Okay. So that is, you don't need to worry. Okay. Domain is also within the domain. How many forests are there? Sorry, how many domain controllers are there? Okay. Is there any one server 2016, another one 2019? That is also possible. We can have, but that's compatibility is the domain functional level. Just go with the default. And some password it is asking. Directory service restore mode password. See, in Active Directory, you can restore the deleted objects. If you deleted a user account, deleted OU, whatever you want to delete, the deleted item can be restored. To restore, you cannot simply directly do. You have to go to a mode called DSRM, Directory Service Restore Mode, DSRM mode. To go to that mode, you should have a password, and that password is this one. Password at the rate 123. I'm keeping the same. But even if you don't know the password, you can reset this password. This is the one good option in Active Directory. If you don't know the DSRM password, you can forcefully set the password that you desire, that you wish to. Okay. And if you reset the password, nothing will get harmed. Nothing will get impacted. So select next. See, it is asking, would you like to go for a delegation of the DNS? No, I don't want to delegate anything. Delegation means you already have a DNS server, and would you like to use that as a DNS server? No, I don't have anything such. Okay. So I'll click on next. See, one thing you have not noticed here. After installation of Active Directory, you see all the Active Directory roles came. After installation only you see. Before that there was no. Okay. After installation you got all this option, but if you open Active Directory users and computer, see here, it's a domain to manage the users and groups on this computer. Use local users and groups to manage the users, groups, and computers in a domain. Log on as a user with the domain administration right. Means you have just installed the tool, but it is not a domain controller yet. See, it is not showing any domain name. Nothing is there. It's a blank one. And DNS, see, you don't have DNS here. Group policy came, but DNS is not there. Okay. Why I wanted to show you that here it will install the DNS. That's why. See, facebook.com, this is my NetBIOS name. So there are two types of names, guys. One is fully qualified domain name, FQDN. Another one is NetBIOS name. See, if you write .com fully, facebook.com like this is call it as fully qualified domain name, because if you want to call it as a domain, you should have the suffix .com, .in, .org, .edu, like that. It should be, that is called as suffix. Prefixes can be anything. It can be Facebook, it can be Instagram, it can be LinkedIn, anything. Okay, that is called as FQDN. So now I want to have only the NetBIOS name. Click on next. Facebook.com. Facebook.
So,
Yes.
is there any case sensitive? The
No,
domain,
you can
small
have
letter,
small
capital.
letter can also be given. Okay.
Okay.
So see, and then the Active Directory database. If you remember, while explaining the database, I told you it will be there in the C Windows NTDS. Under that NTDS.dit, the directory information tree, and sysvol system shared volume. These are all the by default path of the Active Directory database. Somebody asks you means what is the database path, you can tell it is C colon Windows and NTDS. Under NTDS there is a file called ntds.dit. So select that, click on next. Now this is all the selections you did. See, the NetBIOS name is this one, forest functional level is this one, domain functional level this one, all these things. This can be viewed as a script, and this can be stored as a script. PowerShell, you can just save it as a PowerShell script. Next time if you want to install, you can just run this PowerShell command. You don't need to go with all the wizard. It will automatically installed. Okay. So now I don't want to do that. Click on next. And now it is validating the prerequisites. I told you, there are a couple of prerequisites. One is proper IP address static, .NET installation, and domain, a computer name is correct or not, all those things. and it has checked everything, and it is telling me now all the prerequisite checks passed successfully, and now I can install the service and promote the domain controller. Now I'll click on the installation. You see how happens. The DNS will also be get installed. I clicked on install. Now you see, read here starting. You have this starting button. Now this, try to read it. It is now starting the installation. See, waiting for the DNS installation of the installation to finish. I am not told to install the DNS, but it is installing the DNS because Active Directory will not work without the DNS. So it will install the DNS, and then it will pack some packages, and it will create the group policy management console. Okay, and it will also create the partition. See, partitions, schema partition, configuration partition. See, this is configuration partition. CN is equal to configuration. See, still creating the directory partitions. And now I am installing the DNS also along with this. Now the fourth partition will also be getting created, the application partition. DNS computer name root to facebook.com. It will create a DNS record like facebook.com. It got created. See, Kerberos policy. The Kerberos is an authentication protocol. I told you, as soon as you enter the username and password, it will take the username and password, go to the domain controller, validate it, and the port number is 88 Kerberos. Configuring the DNS server services on this computer. If you go to services.msc here, not here, in the this machine, services.msc, you see all the services. So it was configuring the DNS service here. See, DNS client, DNS server. See, it is running now. So those services it was configuring it. So as soon as it get completed, the server get restarted. As soon as the restart is completed, then this domain controller, this machine will act as a domain controller. See, you are about to set, I am not doing anything, it will automatically get restarted. So the restart is done. Let me log into the computer, send control or delete. See, administrator. Did you notice it was not like server name and administrator, it was like Facebook/administrator. It was showing like this. If you go to command prompt, if you say oh am I, see, it was showing like this while logging in. So now you are part of Facebook, and all the administrator accounts, everything became domain account. There is no local accounts in the domain controller. If you go to lusrmgr.msc, it will throw you an error. Okay, see, the computer DC01-FB is a domain controller. This snap-in cannot be used on a domain controller. Means this local users and groups snap-in cannot be used in a domain controller because all the domain accounts are managed with Active Directory users and computer snap-in. Means the domain, I mean, as soon as you created and promoted domain controller, all the local users got converted to a domain users, and all the domain users are managed by the Active Directory users and computers snap-in. This snap-in it was telling. And if you come here, see, now you have facebook.com. Earlier I was unable to open the facebook.com. See, now I have a facebook.com, and if you see the users, the administrator is sitting here now. See, that local user has become the administrator of this domain called Facebook. Okay, and now if I go to tools, you can see group policy. See, local policy was there earlier, now it has become group policy management. And you can see the same structure, whatever you see there in the Facebook. See, and now if you want to tools, go to DNS and see DNS is installed, and you can see the records already got created. DC01-FB. Under that you have forward lookup zone. Go to forward lookup zone, facebook.com, and you see DC01-FB. Computer name is 192. IP address is 192.168.230.130, and it is static. Okay, so this is how, as soon as we install an Active Directory role, it will just create the DNS, Active Directory snap-ins, group policy management, everything, and the local users will get converted to a domain users. Okay, so with this, what we can do, we can just pause it for the day, stop it for the day. Okay, tomorrow I'll explain you the day-to-day related Active Directory related operations. So, okay, if you go to office, what are all the daily things that you can get it, the possible activities that you do in the domain controller daily. Okay, so let me stop the recording for now, and we can connect tomorrow. Thank you all.